So Mackey is also, you live on 35 acres of pesticide-free land. I want to know about this. How can this be done? I think in my sandy soil in New Jersey, it cannot be done. Maybe in Ohio it can be done. But we've tried the pesticide-free thing and nothing grew, and it looked disgusting. So although my wife is very much against pesticides. So how do you make pesticide-free gardening work? Like, what do? You have grubs? How do you do it?
Well, yeah, I think the one is you do have to tolerate some things. When I met my husband, I wasn't, this is 25 years ago, I wasn't putting pesticides on my lawn, and I had violets and dandelions in it. And he said, "Aren't you embarrassed by your lawn?" And I said, "Why? It's beautiful. And I have the only rabbit and kid-friendly lawn in the neighborhood." So whether it's a little piece or a big piece, I think part of it is maybe changing your mindset about it. And I think that in terms of growing vegetables, actually it's beautiful. We do use some organic sprays on things like cabbages and broccoli, because the cabbage worms would basically decimate them otherwise. But it's an organically approved spray. But for the most part, everything does well. We mulch. We have a lot of horse farms around, so my husband goes and gets horse poop and brings it in by the truckload, and we save up a whole year, and we compost that, and when we put we put fresh compost on the garden every year, so that really makes a difference.
Wonderful. Do you have a website on your garden or no? I'm curious.
I don't anymore, because Barry doesn't sell anything other than his maple syrup that he makes. But you can find us on Facebook at Red Sunflower Farm. Red's Sunflower Farm. I'm curious about how to make this work, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think it's tougher though in New Jersey than Cincinnati. I think our soil is like sand. So it's
that's where the compost comes in handy. We've lost a lot of soil. So we are blessed. We live in a river valley, so it's a lot of it's washed in, and we started with good soil, but every soil can use some amendment. So a lot of good compost.
Wonderful. So back to the Prosperity Playbook, which is our free book of the hour. If you schedule and keep your no obligation review at 888-988-JOSH, or you can go to MackeyAdvisors.com or theprosperityplaybook.com and get Mackey's book. So as we head into the next phase of the pandemic, there's the Delta, Lambda, Eta, Theta version of COVID-19. And so much about the future is still unknown. What advice do you have for small business owners looking to either sell or pass on their business?
Yes. Well, I think the first thing is survive to thrive. We have to focus. We always have to focus on, can we survive whatever's coming up? And assuming we're going to have some more challenges, that's the first step. So we're being clear that what your financial strength needs to be. What kind of cash headroom do you need? Monitoring that. There's a tool on our website, MackeyAdvisors.com. You can go, you can download it. Great tool for keeping you informed about your cash flow and cash headroom. Simple, easy to use. So that's the first step, is be clear of how much cash you need to weather storms, and assume there's going to be a storm. There might not be one for 5 more years, but there will be one. And so be prepared. And
there may not be a PPP. PPP saved a lot of people during COVID, but if they didn't have it, a lot of business owners would be out of business.
Yes, they would. And a lot of business owners found, in any economic recessions are really gifts to the business owner. But again, it takes a different perspective. But if you think about anytime there's a contraction, we have to really focus on, what are we super good at? Where is our marketplace? I had a marketing firm that was totally focused on restaurants. Well, you can kind of imagine what they were thinking when COVID hit. But they looked at their skill set, and they looked at what they were really good at, and they said, we can pivot, and we can use this same skill set in this other marketplace. and they're actually 2x what they were before COVID. So, use any time that there's a challenge is a good time to double down and say, what am I really good at? Who am I really serving? What's my unique opportunity? And who am I providing the most value to, or who can I provide the most value to? And I think there's nothing better than that, because you might actually find that you grow your business in ways that you didn't expect.
Now, what about labor shortages and the small business community? I mean, one of the interesting things from the pandemic is people have unemployment for infinity and beyond.
Yes.
You have $15 an hour minimum wage. So a lot of small business at places like Target and Mickey D's, and so you have a lot of business owners that have extraordinary labor costs now that they didn't have before. Obviously they should look at automation, technology as ways to keep costs down so they don't need as many employees, which is always the consequence of these higher minimum wage bills. But what do they do now? I mean, I talked to one small business owner looking for people, and they said, I have to pay 6 figures now, minimum, for a certain skill. Should they train from within? Should they go get younger people and train them? Any advice there for business owners struggling to find labor right now?
Yeah, I think the key to providing labor is, this sounds sort of odd, but I'll go with it. It's my best thing is to know your bigger purpose. The next generation wants to work for a company that's making a difference. So talk about that and attract the people who want to go with you. So I call it bringing your heart to work. It's what's your bigger purpose, and then attract those who want to go live it with you. If you think about it from that perspective, people will work for a cause, or they'll work for a paycheck, or they'll work for some combination. You need both. You need a cause and you need a combination. I had a technology company, in fact, they're local, and they were talking about how their technology, they don't really have anything that they do that's cause driven, like for their customers, but they build cause related activities into their workplace. So they give people opportunities to give back, and they match their giving. So they have a whole culture around giving back. And that's why people prefer to work there so than another technology company. So you can have a bigger purpose. It could be that it's related to what you actually do, and it could be that just how you actually go about it and how your culture is built. But both of those will give you a big head start with keeping a steady workforce and attracting the right kind of people to your workforce.
Wonderful. And as we conclude, what about small business owners just starting out? What should they be doing now to cement a successful transfer in the future?
That's a good question. I think the most thing is to start with the mindset that I am not going to be the fulcrum. I'm not, as I grow, it's hard when you're growing and you've done everything when you started out. But how am I going to build processes, build systems, build structures? And, today there's a lot of online learning software that you can actually record your processes and record your procedures and write them all up so that you can train people virtually. So find ways to record your best activity, record your philosophy, and then document your processes and document all your structures so that new people coming in can come to work and get busy, get up to speed faster, much faster. And that'll free you up. And the more you free yourself up, the more value your business will have long term, excuse me, the more money you make and the more options you'll have.
No, fantastic. Mackey McNeil, the Prosperity Playbook. If you like what you've heard, you can go to theprosperityplaybook.com or Mackey Advisors, or call us at 888-988-JOSH, and we'll give you your book free when you schedule and keep your no obligation review. Fun interview, Mackey. And folks, when we return, we'll be back with your questions all hour next. 800-321-0710. Don't touch that dial.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Jelensky Advisory Group.
Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications, including 5-Star Wealth Manager, Advisory of the Year finalist by Senior Market Advisor, and Top of the $1 Million Roundtable, are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Josh Jelensky or Wealth Quarterback LLC. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Wealth Quarterback website at www.jelensky.org. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions, the information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, Josh Jelensky and Wealth Quarterback do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature, is provided for informational purposes only, and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Advisory services offered through Wealth Quarterback LLC.